All right, now we're back and we're gonna do our chrome sphere. First thing I wanna do is I wanna take my circle guide and I wanna draw a circle. So here we go. Now, once we have our circle drawn, what I'm looking for is on the actual circle guide, there are points marked at every quarter of the circle, okay? I'm gonna use that in just a second. But what I wanna do is I wanna draw the light rays that will shoot down diagonally at the sphere. And what I'm looking to do is find the center here where it meets, and I'm going to use all of those quarter marks here because I want to make a big H. I want to make a big H with all those quarter marks. This is where my gridded 30, 60, 90 triangle comes in very handy. And I'm going to try to line up all these lines and make a big H. I'll do one in the center too, because this will show where the lighting is coming from. And remember, these are all very light in construction. Okay, now what that big H does for me is that it helps me establish where my core shadow is going to be. I'm going to sketch in the core shadow, and I want to do kind of a medium-sized ellipse. Nothing too big, nothing too small. Remember, the split is 45, 55. 45 on top, 55 on the bottom. Okay? And this will establish the roundness of the core. Okay? Now, let me establish the ground line here. The ground line is where the sphere is actually sitting on the floor. Now, in establishing that ground line, what it does is that these two big H lines, they establish the parameters of your shadow. These will be the farthest points of your shadow. Now, something to keep in mind. When we draw the shadow ellipse here, it's not going to be parallel with this line. It will be slightly askew. And I'm just going to approximate that for you right now. When I say askew, you notice that this line and this line are not parallel. They are askew. Okay? Now I'm going to follow that line and establish another ellipse in hierarchy. Hierarchy means it's going to get rounder and rounder on its way down. So you see how big that is? You see how big this one is? So this is going to help us establish what the shadow ellipse looks like. Remember, everything is in construction until we are ready to darken it. Okay, look at the distance here. See how short that is? See how long this is. It's because it is askew. Okay? And for where we want our little sunspot to catch, somewhere right about here, because it's curved. So it's going to catch it a little bit off center, right about here. Okay? Now, after I have my basic construction done, I'm going to do something here to help everybody understand and relate back to what I'm doing. Everybody knows Batman, right? Everybody knows the bat symbol. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hook the edges, and it's kind of going to look like the bat symbol. And hook it late. Don't hook it so big, so fast right away. Hook it at the very ends of the edges. All right? Now, if I need any distortion lines here, I'm just going to throw a couple, and I don't need a lot, okay? Just a little bit here, and that should help me do the bat symbol, okay? Now, before I start rendering, I want to put my sphere in a setting. Because it's kind of a mirror ball, I think I want to put it outside and maybe have it reflect kind of a desert mountain range environment. So what I'll do is when I draw the mountain range, I start off with a very prominent centered mountain. Think of Paramount Studios, the Paramount logo, okay? Then I have some secondary mountains in the back, and they kind of curve along the core area. Okay? Because my light is on this side shining down, all of my stuff along the right side of the mountain is going to be slightly darker because it's catching that shaded area. Okay? Okay, so this concludes our construction. We'll be right back with the rendering portion.